Hi there, this is Self-Critical Automaton, and today, friends, we are going to pick up exactly where we left off and going to shoot a laser at this chap. Not enough to kill him. Definitely enough to ruin his day, though. And then, subsequently, enough to kill him. So, as I said, we're picking up exactly where we left off, and right now, our next goal is to head for the bonfire. It's a pretty easy place to find, but if you miss it, you will have a bit of trouble dealing with all of the stuff around here. So instead of being clever, I'm just going to head straight for it because I want to be human again. I want to spend all these souls. Let's see if we can... Nope. Spear versus spear. Friday night at 12 on the boxing channel. What would it be? Do boxing channels even still exist, or do they do all sorts of stuff? So be wary of left and be wary of left. Normally I would be wary of left. I would also be careful of the right because we get caught in a pincer formation here between that boulder knight and the hollow I've already killed. Since it's just old Baldy here, we are going to just kill him normally, I guess. Got to be careful though because I don't want to be backed into a corner. If I loop around him, I have to be careful because over there's a bridgy bit with no guardrails. As I've already mentioned, no guardrails means many lawsuits. Now, I think... yes, okay, I think we're good. This, as I mentioned, is the bit. Now, this wood's clearly been here for a long time. It's got algal growths, moss. It's clearly nearly rotted away to uselessness, but... you know how long it takes that to happen to wood? You know, it could be anywhere from 10 to, what, 50 years? If you look at the stonework, the rest of this place, you know, that stuff takes a lot longer to fall into disrepair. So clearly, there were some fairly serious attempts to repair this place fairly recently. But, well, and you can tell that because the wood is still there. But also, it's clearly been in disrepair for a longer state. Longer state? It's been in disrepair for a longer time than that. Ah, now, did you see that little weird glowy dot over there? What that is a miracle synchronization marker. If someone else in their game casts miracles near to you... oh, sorry. Okay, so there's a really weird, complex back-end system for how proximity of other players are to one another. Basically, if someone is quote-unquote near you, then they might show up in your game as a phantom, or they might leave a bloodstain that you can see, or you might hear their bell ring, etc, 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 all that kind of mingling in and out multiplayer stuff. These are the same. Oh, it's gone. Yeah, well, they are the same, except that, basically, there's a chance anytime you cast a miracle to leave one. If you do leave one, then anyone who comes and casts a miracle in the same place has a greater chance of leaving one, and you get a bonus to whatever miracle it is you're casting. So, you know, 10% extra healing or whatever it is, or 10% extra damage. And they stack with one another, so if a lot of people cast a lot of miracles in the same place, you're going to end up with significant boost. You often find them in boss places, or, you know, places a lot of people happen to be fighting. Let's get myself nice and human again. Now, I would normally also kindle this bonfire, but I'm not going to right now because we're fairly close to a shortcut back down to the Firelink Shrine, and the Firelink Shrine at the bonfire there starts already kindled. Since it's already kindled, you know, and it's about the same distance from the local boss as... oh, hello. Who's this?
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegmeyer of Katarina. Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall. Or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. So, here I sit, in quite a pickle, weighing
He looks
my
like a bit of a pickle.
so to speak.
So yes, as this chap introduced himself, he is Siegmeyer of Katarina, and one of my favourite things about this game is, you know how I keep talking about the attention to detail they put in? Yeah, his voice is muffled. Why is his voice muffled? Because he's wearing a giant fucking helmet. So, yeah, he's one of my favourite characters because I really love his sort of pudgy armour design. It's quite cute, I think, and his helmet looks like an onion, so I tend to call him the Onion Knight. Even though he, of course, has nothing to do with the Onion Knight from various Final Fantasy games. But yes, this is a big old castle with a big old gate shut. We'll be coming back here much later on, but it's worth noting the stonework here is clearly much, much older than the stonework very nearby over here in the Undead Parish. It's much more weathered, and it also looks like it's a more old-fashioned form of building as well. So, yeah, as you can hear, there's probably some kind of a friendly chap down here. Or, I mean, I suppose there's no real reason to assume he's friendly, however, he is.
Well, you must be a new arrival. I'm Andre of Astora. If you require smithing, then speak to me.
Well, that's nice of him. So, I've got a few things to say about Andre of Astora, but I'll probably save them until we're wandering through fighting the next bunch of hollows. For the moment, I am going to see what we can buy. He sells Titanite shards, a bunch of different doodads, a bunch of different weapons, including my personal favourite, the Cestus, which is basically a knuckle duster. I'm always really tempted to buy it, and it does only cost 200 souls, but it's not a very effective weapon. So, you know. He also sells a bunch of arrows, but that's irrelevant because we haven't got a bow yet. These shields are identical, and there's not really any reason to buy them because their stats aren't noticeably better than the Knight's shield that we already have. The other thing about this game is you periodically do need to repair your... Yes, okay, I forgot about the Kajikaya's shield. Now, as I mentioned before, every item does have a description, and I'm going to go through these a bit later on. I might devote an entire episode just through rummaging around, but, you know, maybe not. I'm sure that would be very boring for everyone. So, yeah. I'm going to repair my hand axe, going to ignore the club, going to repair the winged spear, and the rest of these can wait. Modify equipment. Special ember required. Later on we will get a thing that lets us let blacksmiths upgrade things along different paths, down different routes of advancement, such as lightning enhancement, or enchantment, or chaos enhancement, and so on. For the time being, we can use Titanite shards to... That's odd. It says I don't have any Titanite shards, but I definitely killed a Titanite Titanite lizard earlier. I'm just gonna take a quick look. Yeah, oh, I see. I have Titanite chunks, which are significantly larger and are used further down the upgrade tree.
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged?
Not right now, Andre. Let's learn his gesture while we're here. Hurrah!
Most weapons and armor are mighty sturdy indeed, but every hunk of metal has its breaking point. If you notice durability running low, it's time to repair. You can ask a blacksmith like myself, or do it on your own with a grindstone. The nice thing about weapons, they never betray you, so pay them a little respect, eh?
Well, that was loaded. Wow. Anyway, I'm not going to reforce anything at the moment, because I don't have any... yeah, okay, bye. Because I don't have any of the stuff I need. There is a door down there, but I'm not going to go through it right now, because there's a big old monster in there. It's pretty easy to beat if you have a bow or enough spells. I don't have a bow or enough spells, so I'm going to leave it be for the time being. Anyway, time to level up a little bit. I'm going to... let's see... I'm going to put some points into, let's say, endurance. Now, it already costs us 2,300 souls to level up, and we're only level 18. We've only leveled up a handful of times, as we started at level 6. Yeah, it pretty quickly gets pretty expensive. Anyway, let's see if we can clear out the rest of this place. So, Andrew Vestora, like I said, he has some loaded dialogue, and if you recall, when we were in the room, you might have noticed that there's no forge there. He's a blacksmith, but he's hammering away at things. He doesn't seem to have any capacity for heating up metal or ore to make new equipment, or look at this. Ouch. Okay, well I should probably kill these guys before standing around gawking at shiny things on the floor. True in real life, as well as in Dark Souls. It's what you would call good advice. Ooh, that was close. It's always really satisfying when you pull off a perfect dodge like that. Haha. And those have disappeared. Well, oh well. So, those names on the ground were the summon signs of other players. Ha! Backstab. Thrusting weapons always do more backstab damage, which is cool. And what that means is that we can summon in a player to help us. Shall I summon this guy in? Shall I? I don't think so. So, I'm going to try and be sneaky here because there's... Oh shit! I completely forgot about that guy. Yeah, this guy, you know, he looks, he's kind of massive, isn't he? Now, on my first playthrough, I thought that he was another Black Knight, but what he is in fact a Bereniki Knight. The Bereniki Knights are interesting for reasons that I will talk about much later on. All we really need to know for now is that they are massive. They're about as tall as a Black Knight, but they're more powerfully built, and their armour is clearly bigger and heavier. I'm not sure I can take even a single hit from this guy. I probably can, but, you know, let's not leave it to chance. I would normally try and go toe-to-toe with this guy, but, like, that's probably a bad idea when he's that big and powerful. So, yeah, since I'm going for an all-rounder build rather than a melee-focused build, I'm just going to waste all my magic on him. Bereniki Knights... Actually, no. Some Bereniki Knights do respawn, which throws one of my theories that I haven't talked about yet into, let's say, confusion. Ah, look, there's two names. Oh, and a third one's just disappeared, so... There's that guy again, or there's... this lady? I'm gonna say, you know, ladies before dudes. I can't remember what the really good ladies before dudes aphorism was. Oh yes, sisters before misters, so I'm summoning in a lady to help me, that's good. That one will do nicely. Now, as I said, I'd completely forgotten about that guy. Who I was actually wary of was that guy up there. You can see he's got a big old trident. That is a channeler. Now, the channelers I'm going to talk about much later on because they aren't actually that interesting at the moment. We don't know anything about them except that they're big guys who do magic. Firekeeper Soul, another interesting object, which I will talk about later, and once I've cleared out this space I will probably talk about this statue as well. However, for the time being, what I really want to do is... Actually, it doesn't look like that lady I summoned is going to get summoned in. It's, yeah, summoning failed. It's always a little bit wonky, the summonings. Even on Steam now, with the Steam netcode. Oh, I'm summoning him in, definitely. He's wearing one of the heaviest suits of armour in the game. In fact, I believe it is the second heaviest suit of armour in the entire game. And, yeah, anyone who can even move wearing that, you probably want them to help you kill a boss. The boss here is up at the top of that tower, but there's a little ways to go before then, and there's only 5 minutes left in today's runtime, so I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is maybe see about sneaking under here, opening up a shortcut. Now there's 3 Boulder Knights here. If I can get it back to level 1, that would be good. And I in fact did. Fantastic. That was not my most elegant escape, but whatever. Now normally I'd be trying to save these black fire bombs, but I don't usually fight all 3 of these guys at the same time because they're pretty tough, as we've already seen. So, you know, there's no shame in blowing people up with bombs. They have a pretty good drop rate for Titanite shards, so I should probably go spend those and level up a little bit at good old Andre the Blacksmith in a minute. But first, I need to sneak up on this guy. I'm doing a lot of sneaking today. Has he spotted me? No, he has not. Sneaky, sneaky, gets it done. And a backstab. Fantastic. Getting good at that. Ah, the basement key. Wonder what that does. Probably gives access to the basement. Should this be called Dark Souls, or should it be called Snark Souls? It's up to you, dear listener. Beloved friends, etc. Ah, look, someone's put a message behind this part. What it says. Strike? So yeah, the halberd's quite a nice weapon as well, but I'm not going to use it. Because it's very wide and swingy. Now up there, that leads... I hear someone running. I was worrying for a moment, but I think we're okay. Now when we were in here, oh yeah, sorry, that place leads back up to where we were before. I can cast spells at the summoner, but I probably can't out-spellcast him, and he does have the advantage of height. And if I had a bow, I could take him out pretty easily, but I don't. I probably should have bought the bow way back at the... Yeah, as long as I stay behind this pillar, I'm okay. Ah, now I've got taunted. Ouch, wow, yeah, okay, that's a lot of damage. So this pillar is out of his reach. Tell you what, we've only got a couple of minutes left on this episode, so what I'm going to do is run hopefully out of his range over here, and then just sort of smugly stand around talking about visual design. Can he reach me? No, he cannot. We're going to take care of him next episode, along with possibly a Black Knight and possibly a the boss of this area, the Belfry Gargoyles. Now this is a fairly low-res image, but it's a man and several beasts holding up objects as if in homage to this woman. Who is she? We don't know. And that's interesting because all of the rest of the iconography in this game has very clear references. It's clear what it's referring to in the mythology of this world. So, you know, who is this woman? Who is the baby she's holding? It's a weirdly Christian image, actually. Although, there are a lot of nods from Christian mythology in this game. Which is one of the things I like about Japanese game design, is that there's a strong tendency to do what Westerners tend to do, which is just grab wildly and pretty much take whatever they please from foreign mythologies. So, you know, might as well take iconography from Christian stuff if you can make something interesting out of it. Now this probably looks familiar because it's the Firelink Shrine. Do you remember? This is where I dropped down to get to Petrus's secret stash. That is in fact the shortcut. Next time I go up in that lift, I'll probably talk about its visual design as much as I talked about the other lift's visual design, because it does the same thing. It's clear that it has mechanisms which interact and behave in accordance with physical laws. Always a nice thing to have. Now, because it's a counterweight lift, there's two lifts, one's at the top, one's at the bottom. What you find when you get to the top of the parish, which incidentally is right directly... Ugh, stupid grass is in the way. Right directly up at the top of that cliff, and if you pay attention to how these spaces interact, you know, they all, like I was saying, they all make physical sense with regard to one another. If you look up there, that's the bridge we crossed. There's the edge of the undead parish. So we went into the aqueduct, crossed into the aqueduct, got behind that wall, fought our way up through the town on the other side of the wall, then crossed back across that bridge, which is just visible behind the aqueduct, to the top of that cliff, then fought our way through the village at the top of the cliff, which is the undead parish, up to over there. Then we took the lift back down again. As you can see, they are all interconnected in exactly functional ways. And yeah, that's about it for today's episode. First though, I'm going to alter my... I don't really need 4 different kinds of pointing. And joy... That doesn't look joyful. That looks like someone swatting the air in frustration, so we'll swap that out for... Oopsie daisy. We'll swap that out for... Right, okay. We'll swap that out for... We could go for hurrah, which I believe we got from Andre earlier. We could get rid of point forwards, which isn't very useful even when communicating with other players, and swap that out for shrug. I like the shrug. It's very expressive. And hurrah! It's a little bit more sort of pumping people up than being like, huzzah, we did a good job. Anyway, that's enough from me for now, and I will see you again tomorrow. Unless tomorrow is the weekend, because the weekends, you know, I take the weekends off, as you know. Bye!